Sorry, because of internet problem, I was unable to connect in time. Yesterday we have seen the gross total income, then the total income, then what is assessment year. We have seen the assessment year in detail. Assessment year is a period of 12 months commencing from 1st April of every year and ending on the 31st March of next year. And this is the financial year of the government, and it is also called as tax year. Income tax year. And in this year, the income tax department assess the income of the assessee and calculate the tax liability during the assessment year. Okay. And present assessment year is 2020-21. 2021 is the assessment year. This is the present assessment year. It is already explained yesterday. And regarding previous year, this also a little bit explained one. What is previous year? Previous year is a financial year. It is also a financial year. Financial year means it is the financial year of the government commencing on 1st April every year, ending on 31st March of next year. That is called as financial year. Then this is a financial year ending on 31st March. It may start on 1st April or it may be started in the middle of the financial year. Okay. It is the financial year of the central government ending on 31st March. It may start on 1st April or it may start after the 1st April, but ends on 31st March every year. 31st March of next year. Okay. It must end on 31st March of every year, immediately preceding the assessment year. Immediately preceding the assessment year means before starting the assessment year. Assessment year starts on 1st April. It ends on 31st March of the same year. Okay. Calendar year. So for the assessment year 2020-21, the financial year previous year should be the financial year ends on 31st March 2020. Your previous year should end on 31st March 2020. So previous year ends on 31st March 2020. This year may start on 1st April 2019, or it may start after 1/4/2019, but it must end on 31st March 2020. This is called as previous year. Okay, it is already explained in the previous class. In other words, previous year means coming before, hence it can be coming before the assessment year. The word previous means coming before. Before means it coming before the previous, assessment year. The year which comes before the assessment year is called as previous year. Hence it can be simply said that previous year is the financial year preceding the assessment year. Preceding the assessment year is called as previous year. Okay. So previous year in case of newly set up business. What is the previous year and assessment year and business started? Okay, the previous year in case of newly started business shall be a period between the commencement of the business and 31st March of the following year. Okay. In any date you start the business from 1st April, on 1st April or after the 1st April. On 1st April or after the 1st April, but your year must end on 31st March of the next year. Okay, next coming 31st March. That is called as previous year. I'll give you the certain examples. Okay, this is the date of commencement, previous year, which is the previous year, and which is the assessment year. For example, date of commencement of business is 1/4/1990. 2019. On 1/4/2019, you started the business. And what is the previous year for this? Previous year for this is 1/4/2019 to 31st March 2020 is the previous year. And assessment year for this is 1/4/2020 to 31st March 2021. You see this. Business commenced on 1/4/2019. They started the business on 1st April 2019. And previous for that business is 1/4/2019 to 31st March 2020. And whatever income you earns from 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020, on that income tax department levy tax and assess the tax from 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021. This is the sequence. Okay. Let us consider the second example. The second example is 28/9/2019. The business commenced on 28/9/2019. That means it may be on the during Deepavali or during Dasara. You started the business during Dasara or Deepavali. The date may be 28/9/2019. Okay. You started the business on 28/9/2019. And what is the previous year for this? The previous year for this is from 28/9/2019 to 31st March of the next year. Okay. Year ends. Financial year ends. So previous year for this business is 28/9/2019 to 31st March 2020 is the previous year. Previous year. It may be full year, it may not be full 1 year. It may be 12 months. In the first case, previous year is 12 months. But in this case, the previous year is not 12 months. From the date of commencement of business to year end, 31st March 2020. That is the previous year. Okay. And assessment year for this is 1/4/2020 to 31st March 2021. Next, take the third example. Let us consider you started business on 31st/12/2019. At the end of the calendar year, business started on 31st/12/2019. And previous year for this business is from the date of commencement to the end of the financial year. The financial ends on 31st March. Therefore, the previous year is from 31st/12/2019 to 31st March 2020 is the previous year. Only round about 3 months and 1 day. A 3 months period is called as previous year. Then assessment year for this is 1/4/2020 to 31st March 2021. This is the assessment year. Let us consider this date. You started business on 15th March 2020. That is, let us consider Yugadi, your Yugadi. Okay, Hindu calendar. On 15th March, you started the business. And what is the previous year for this? From date of commencement of business to the calendar financial year end. Financial year ends on 31st March. Therefore, 15th March 2020 to 31st March 2020 is called as previous year. 15th March 2020 to 31st March 2020 is your previous year. Previous year is only 15 days or 16 days. 16 days period is called as previous year. And assessment year for this is 1/4/2020 to 31st March 2021. Okay. So remember, if you started the business on first day of the financial year, previous year is of 12 months. If you will not start the business on first day of financial year, then your previous year is less than 12 months. This is the point you have to remember.
ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Okay. So the general rule regarding the assessment year and previous year means whenever the previous year ends, the assessment year starts. Previous year ends on 31st March and assessment year starts on 1st April. Means the next day of the previous year. Next day of the previous year end. Whenever the previous year ends, the next day assessment year starts. This is the general rule. Okay. First previous year ends, then assessment year starts. This is general rule. That is nothing but whatever income you earn in the previous year, that is to be assessed in the current year and taxed in the current year. This is the general rule. Okay. The general rule, as soon as previous year ends, the assessment year starts. This is the general rule. And there are certain exceptions to the general rule. What are the exceptions to the general rule? We will see the exceptions to the general rule. What are the exceptions? The main exception to general rule is, first, income of non-resident residents from shipping business, section 172. A person, the shipping business person, non-resident of India, comes to the India on shipping business and unload or load the goods at the port, at the dock yard, and he goes to some other country. He moves towards some other country. In this case, the assessment year and previous year becomes same, because if you follow the general rule, that person may come or may not come in the next year to our country. Therefore, the assessment year and previous year becomes same. Whenever the non-resident person comes for shipping business in India, during that year or that time itself, you have to collect the tax from that person, assess the tax and collect the tax from that person. Otherwise, that person will not be available to you people in the next year. Therefore, this is the exception to the general rule. Okay. And second case is regarding exception to general rule is income of a person leaving India, either permanently or for a period, for a long period. A person is leaving India for a long period or permanently leaving India and going abroad. He is going abroad. Then the previous year and assessment year became same. Are same. Why? Suppose you permit him to go out of India, just like Vijay Mallya. I'll give you the example of Vijay Mallya. Or one more is there, Nirav Modi or someone left India. Suppose you permit them to go outside India, then they will not be available to you people in the assessment year to assess the income and assess the amount of tax. Therefore, the persons who leave India permanently or for a long period, You have to assess their income during the same year and collect the tax in the same year. Therefore, assessment year and previous year becomes same for the person leaving India permanently or temporarily. This is the second point. And third point is income of a person trying to transfer his asset with a view to avoiding payment of tax. Some peoples who are in India for the purpose of avoiding tax or for the purpose of avoiding high rate of tax, they transfer their asset or income to others, to their relatives or some other persons. For the purpose of avoiding the tax or for the purpose of reducing the tax, suppose any person is transferring his asset, then for that person, assessment year and previous year becomes same. This is the third point. Fourth point. And fifth point is income of discontinued business. Suppose you discontinue the business and realizes the asset and discloses the properties and settle the accounts. Once you settle the account, there is no existence of the business. For that business, for discontinued business, the assessment year and previous year become same. Before dissolution or before discontinuation of the business, you have to settle the tax and settle the income tax dues. Therefore, assessment year and previous year becomes same for the discontinued businesses. These are the 4 points you have to remember regarding exception to the general rule. General rule is you earn income in the previous year, pay tax in the assessment year. It is general rule. But assessment year and general previous year will be same in 4 cases. First is for non-resident shipping business, a person who living India permanently and a person who is trying to transfer his property for the purpose of avoiding tax, and last is for discontinued businesses. Okay, for these 4 conditions, assessment year and previous year are same. And next we will see the agriculture income. Important term is agriculture income. Agriculture income under section 10 subsection 1 is exempted from tax. Agriculture income is exempted from tax under section 10 subsection 1, means it is not a taxable income. It is free from